There it is. All right, let's get it going. All right, you guys ready? All right, welcome to episode 8 of the Bucks of Nebraska Podcast. I'm Cody. I'm back with Matt and Zach as always. Today we have a couple very, trending hot topics for the state of Nebraska. This is gonna be a little shorter podcast for you, but we're gonna talk a little bit about Sandhill Cranes and then talk about the morel mushrooms. Two things that are happening right now across the state of Nebraska. So, real quick, I'll set the stage here. So, as we know, as every spring, Nebraska's Platte River, they host a bunch of crazy wildlife spectacles, some of the coolest wildlife spectacles of all of North America. One of that being the Sandhill Cranes, right? And so from mid-February, excuse me, most of you don't know, mid-February through the early April range right now where we're at, about 1 million Sandhill Cranes come to Nebraska. They feed in the cornfields, they go to the wet meadows by day, they roost in the shallow waters of the Platte River at night. And then by March, almost 80% of the world's crane population comes to a 150-mile stretch of that river in the state of Nebraska. So I'll just stop there and just let that sink in. Obviously, most people probably listening are not, Sandhill crane hunters or big followers. But the reason we felt this need to talk about this topic is it's a massive thing for the state of Nebraska.
Yeah, huge tourist attraction.
So Zach, I got a little question for you. So knowing that Sandhill Cranes are a big, feature of tourism and it's a wildlife spectacle per se, what do you think the impact on overall Sandhill Cranes is to the state of Nebraska?
Well, I'll tell you the answer to that because I just looked it up to ChatGPT, but $28 million is what it generates.
It's not a small topic. That's why we talk about none of us are gonna be a lot of our way to hunt a Sandhill Crane rooting, but it's a major factor in the economy.
There's 28 million total economic impact during crane season. 35,000 visitors annually come here. So that's hotels, restaurant, booze, food, and then crane watching. $70,000 of state tax revenue generated. So just a ton of people come in, and it's a pretty short amount of time. Like you said, it's about a month long. And out there, Grand Island, Kearney areas where a lot of these, bird watchers want to stay and hotel for the night or for the weekend or for the week, hang out, take pictures of them.
And what they say is that the per capita ratio of Subarus go up in the state of Nebraska, and the East Crane
is insane. Yeah, it's like you're driving through Colorado.
Matt, what's the history? Being the eldest of the three of us, what's the history of the Sandhill Cranes?
Yeah, you're always picking on the old guy. I did turn 46 on grass. Can you believe that?
I do. You're
halfway air boy. Yeah, sure. All right. I'll throw out some cool facts, some interesting facts about the Sandhill Crane. And let's see, we'll start off with they're an ancient species. Sandhill Cranes have been around for over 2 million.
If you believe Earth is older than 6,000 years, you're probably listening to the wrong podcast, but they say it's over 2 million years. That's crazy when you think about it. I know, to your point, Matt, that they have fossil records that place the cranes in 2 million to 9 million years, I think, which is nuts, which is before the Platte River even existed. Right?
No.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No. Do you know that they can fly at over 10,000 feet? It's like an airplane. They're like a freaking 1,000-foot wingspan. They should be able to probably fly.
What's the total migration population of Sandhill Cranes, Matt?
I want to say that the population right now is right around 800,000. And you can hear anywhere from 500 to 1 million, but I think 800,000 is what they're saying comes through Nebraska annually. So if we got 800,000 in Nebraska, and we're probably not getting all the birds that are in the total population, but we're sitting on 800,000 here. I would say this is probably pushing upwards of 1 million.
Yeah,
because they say roughly 80% estimated cut through and what's up.
I'm being from Florida. Cranes are such a big deal in Florida that there's videos all over TikTok and social.
Just shoot them down there.
Yeah, right by the sky. Cranes backing in alligators and ponds and whatnot. But the thing that I think is cool about cranes in general, they are an ancient species, to your point, Matt. And this next one is they do mate and pair for life, right?
Correct. Yeah, they pair for life. And then it said too in one of the articles I was reading that they actually strengthen their relationship annually by their different dances.
Annually or annually?
and you leave.
By how?
Ooh, not Italy. By dancing. They dance for their lifelong partners. I usually try to never relationship, man. And like my spirit, how crazy is that?
What's the call song like, man? Do you know what?
Yeah, I can't do that. You guys want to take a stab at it?
Yeah, go ahead. Done it like a.
I mean, that was a crow.
How big is a Sandhill Crane?
All right,
we got business.
we got 4 foot in length and up to a 7-foot wingspan. That's a big bird.
The reason we're saying the stats and facts about it is, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there that most of the people listening have no idea about Sandhill Crane. They don't really. They see them. They're a part of our life. They're in Nebraska, all over the place. We don't really give them enough respect, right? Here's a pretty cool thing. They can travel 170 to 450 miles a day at a speed of 38 miles an hour.
All right, 10,000 feet.
That's 10,000 feet. It sounds like a freaking falcon.
And like an air flight.
Here's another cool.
It's like it was like a Cessna.
Let's talk about their diet, man. They'll stay in Nebraska. They're probably just eating green, but these things will eat insects, small reptiles, and fish. And so they're survivors.
They go long. It's a little longer beaks. They go long beaks. I guess their diet, to your point, is just mainly corn when they come to Nebraska.
It's half of how about river ales?
This has to be real.
They'll sit in the Platte River. They might be eating a lot of little vertebrae with small fish.
If you were a wild Indian, let's just not even Indian.
We're kind of come a wild.
You're coming here and what's the old saying? Christopher Columbus sailed the seas in 1592.
Keep going.
Of course, you too. Pretty good, Jeffy. Next thing. So let's just say you come off the Mayflower and you're coming into North America and cranes are native, and you come off and you see a bird in a river, 5 foot tall, 7 foot wide, dancing in a creek. What do you?
If I got my musket, my flintlock musket, I'm gonna throw a ball out for sure.
I'm putting every fork and spoon I got. I'm barreling that thing. So they're mainly river habitat species. This is like the core corridor of their travel, north or south. You're obviously the one topic that we could hit on is that crane hunting itself is legal in almost every surrounding state, right? But except Nebraska, which is odd considering it's the main corridor. So Kansas, South Dakota, North Dakota, Texas, Oklahoma, Montana, all these other places have, but not Nebraska. So I wonder, do you have thoughts on why you think they don't?
Sure, we get paid $28 million to protect the ballot.
Yep, full stop.
Yes, absolutely. But I think it'd be great, I think, to be able to harvest them or to be able to shoot a whatever. You got a permit that you could kill 2 a year or 5 a year or whatever that is in the fall time. I don't really think that would have much effect. And then coming through in the springtime, coming back here in March. However, I can understand why the state, with how much revenue it generates for our state, on why we decide not to do that. So it's kind of a safe haven for them. But I would think that there would be quite a bit of revenue that they could generate on the hunting permit side. And we would probably still have the cranes come through and still have our 35,000 tourists a year.
Let's just turn that 28 million into like 35 and have a fall season here.
Yeah, you know what's
Spring.
not when they're not when they're coming through. And
But the hell the fall persons, let's just fill the hotels and let's book the restaurants out. Let's just do it all.
in other states, what do they have the bag limit? Is it 1, 2, 5, 10, 25?
It's 3 if it's morning only hunting. And I think every quit will stay
morning only with
the possession limit of 9.
Yep, possession limit of 9, 3 a day. And it's fall hunting. And it depends on the state, anywhere from September through January. As they obviously might.
Look how smart those permits were too.
It was like the average was like 3 or 5 ducks. Yeah.
So they're kind of a
0.5.
yeah.
But there's 5 got here to 1 million, 500,000 to 1 million of them that come through the Sandhill Cranes.
Right. We love them here, but apparently they're shooting for free basically everywhere else.
What do you guys think the impact on the state's agriculture is for the Sandhill crane population? How much impact do you think on farming and ag producers the cranes have? If they stay in the river, I assume they're not just in the river, they're eating corn and everything else. Right now it's planting season. This is the high migratory time and whatnot. Do you think it has a major impact on you?
Sure. I think it's a good impact. They're just going to sit out there and eat waste grain.
Yeah.
Sieves weren't set right over combine. They spill a little corn, whatever it is. They're going to have less volunteer corn and beans, so they're going to have cleaner fields.
Do you think maybe that's why we don't love hunting? Is because it's the time of year that they're the highest volume here and they're only eating waste grain. It's basically planting season. And they're not, they're not having a big effect on the ag and whatnot. And $28 billion of tourism.
Yeah, let's be honest. It comes down to the money. We do want to protect children, our resource, and our incomes.
Gives them a safe place to come every single year as they.
But here's the deal. We talked about this last time. Do you remember this has been their flyaway, like that 80%, whatever they speculate comes here every year. It's been that way for allegedly thousands of years, well, thousands of hundreds, 50, 60 years ago, you could shoot the piss out of it. And they still chose to come here. So, like, why can't we have a fall season?
What's the most relatable game animal to a crane volume-wise? Like, what is that? Shooting rabbits and squirrels because they're so high population? What do you... Is it... I mean, it's only Nebraska you can't hunt them, so all these other states clearly think they're whatever.
Well, they got their hands on straight.
Yeah,
let's make a little money off the sport. I exactly said that earlier. I mean, what we do in the fall with these birds is not going to affect our $28 billion tourism industry in the spring. It's two different things. They're still going to come here like they have been for thousands of years.
Hey, let's go ahead and generate a little money. What do you think the effect would be if we did harvest them? Whatever that means, however many hunters are allotted to get permits and we're able to harvest X amount of birds. Let's say that the state of Nebraska harvested 50,000 cranes a year.
Well, we could be uber conservative and sell a crane tag. You get one crane. I'm going to shoot a Nebraska crane this fall, and it's $50.
They could put that part of our, Nebraska slam.
Sure.
Put that together, and you got to have that to have your Nebraska slam. That'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty sweet.
You know what I read? One of the topics it said, when you go research on cranes, it says that if cranes are there, it says it's a sign your habitat and your land are working. But we mark at how bad our habitat is.
I think we're specific to the ecosystem out there.
I'm going to say, I think we're specific to deer, but out there in the Platte River, it's also, I think,
very, very diverse ecosystem. They got everything out there. They've got timber, they've got wetlands, they've got rivers, they've got marshes, they've got sand hills. They got everything. We don't have right here.
I think that they prefer coming here to the state of Nebraska because of our river systems.
For sure.
They're very unique. Flat water, it's shallow, slow moving water. And that's obviously must be something those birds prefer comparative to the states that are around us.
Yeah. Before we jump into mushrooms, just kudos to the Sandhill Crane population and the whole species itself. I know it's just for us.
Good luck to you.
Good luck to you. This is the annual crane topic. This will be maybe once a year we'll bring us up, but it's a reminder that it's a part of Nebraska's history. If you've never driven out to the Platte River in March and just sat there for an hour and watched the Sandhill Cranes, I'd say do it. Obviously, now we're early April. Take your kids. You don't need a license. You don't need camouflage. Just go get some pictures. Get out there and watch 500,000 to 1 million birds. At the sunrise, and you'll understand exactly why Nebraska is awesome and why people love this state. If you're listening from another state, it's definitely a worthy thing to do. It's definitely a worthy thing to put on your calendar, and it's definitely a worthy thing to participate in that $28 million of contribution to the states.
Yeah, I mean, agree. Hop in your Subaru, come on over here to Nebraska and take a look at these crazy dinosaurs.
So, Zach, before we started tonight, you said that somebody somewhere in the morel mushroom topic. What?
Oh yeah, morel mushrooms. I'm glad that we're moving on to them now. Something that everyone can relate to. So so the first one was confirmed. There's every year Nebraska has this. They have a morel mushrooms Facebook page, and then there's some prize, I guess, if you find the first one each year. But the first one was confirmed, at least confirmed, found, and posted and reported in Douglas County today. So I thought that was pretty cool.
What's today's date? The 2nd?
Yep.
That is the 2nd. So the first mushrooms found April 2nd, 2026. They went.
That's early.
It's still kind of cold though. So I mean,
we've had this bit. Your area is we haven't had much rain, which was in right now that we just had some rain at least here in southeast Nebraska today. We got some warmer temperatures that are coming next week, so I would assume that the mushrooms are going to be popping up everywhere now. We got rain coming again next week, so those are all good conditions. You want damp conditions to get these things per se. It isn't fine, yes, outside, damp and warm, right? I don't typically see the first one until late April. That's
early May.
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, the peak is we got mid-April to mid-May. Soil temp's got to be above 50 degrees. I used to hear 52 degrees was the magical number.
For that, yeah.
Books say 50 to 60 degrees soil temps minimum, and they'll start popping. Obviously, need a lot of moisture. So, if you got a dry spring, you're not going to find a lot. If you got a wet spring, you're going to find a million. I remember a couple of years ago when that Missouri River flooded and it came all the way up to those dikes. People were just walking the inside of those dikes and picking bag loads. You guys are that. You don't even have to look for it. I mean, you're finding big yellows along just a dike but no timber. I've spent most of my life looking for the little tiny grays in the timber, and it's a bitch.
Yeah.
You imagine big, beer can size yellows on a side dike right down along the river. It'd be put.
I got to tell you this. Everyone loves mushrooms hunting. I mean, it is fun to go out in the woods. It's your first time after winter. You get to go out there and tromp around if you're, non-deer hunter where you're out there all the time, but, or whatever. But like mushroom hunting is like spring. It's like the first time you go back out and outside and enjoy being outside. But I can tell you this, the reward for hunting a mushroom is eating them. And that's not in the top 1 million things I want to get.
Taste there. You guys are against it. I love eating them.
Love rocking up, I think. They're bitter, salty, nasty, greasy. You can't cook it anyway. If you wrapped in bacon, I might eat the bacon off of it.
Maybe you're eating them. Yeah, in the next episode, I think we're going to have to preface the episode with a mushroom feed.
Yeah.
We're going to find some, see if we can change Cody's mentality.
You go find that one mushroom in that one spot and bring it.
Well, okay. Well, you do it. That's what they say. So that, number one area to find these mushrooms would be river bottom timber. So Platte River, Missouri River, creeks and drainages. Again, places that have moisture in the soil, hold moisture, or
sandy or dark soil.
It doesn't say specifically. I will say this from finding mushrooms in both conditions. The downfall to the sandy conditions is there is more sand in the mushrooms, so you have to spend some more time cleaning them out. They still can be fine. You just need to take some additional time rinsing them and soak on those types of things. But they typically will be around cottonwoods, elm trees, and ash trees. And if you find like a dying elm tree or like a dead fall that's fallen over and it's starting to rot and decay, those can be some hot spots for finding some of these mushrooms.
My dad, prior to him passing 22, I will specifically remember sitting in the backyard. He's sitting in his chair. We're by the fire. We're killing natural light.
What was he drinking?
Natty Lights, baby. Nice all day long. And he said, when mushrooms are out, what my mom used to do is when the lilacs were at full bloom, it was a trigger. So when she would be riding around and as soon as she saw the lilacs at full bloom, she was gone. It was mushroom hunting. And I remember that conversation, and then all of a sudden I started noticing, like, damn, I do start noticing. I find mushrooms, it's like that's the trigger. And
the old timers had a lot of cool shit like that.
Yeah, and it's actually fact. So I'd say you go try it. Go look for the lilacs in full bloom. That's when the mushrooms are popping.
Yeah, I would say in the hills, the big yellows will probably be that late. I think earlier on in the year, you'd be able to find the smaller grays on the bottoms prior to the lilacs. But I would say peak season would definitely correlate with the lilacs. That's just cool to me how old people always, they didn't have internet, chat GPT, they didn't have all that. It's got to learn that knowledge. Yeah, and they found ways to remember it. Like, lilacs are blooming.
Yeah.
The mushrooms are out, or 30 days after a fog or 90 days after a fog, it's going to snow. There's a lot of that stuff back in the day that we don't have these days. It's kind of
Zach, when you go mushroom hunting, are you get it and walk quickly, and if you see him, you got him, or how's your hunt go? What's your thought process?
I'll be honest, man. I rarely go out in the woods with the sole purpose that I'm going to go mushroom hunting.
It's not turkey. Then I'm a little for
yeah, 100%. What I was going to say is my favorite kind about that mid-April time of year is, turkey seasons, per se, at full bloom. It's typically around shotgun season. You go out, you hunt the morning, and you try to get on some turkeys. Maybe you get a bird, maybe you don't get a bird, maybe they get quiet. You get kind of, flustered, ticked around for a couple hours. Then I can go to the timbers. I can spend a little bit of time looking for some sheds that I maybe didn't find earlier in the, whatever, for say early spring, late winter. And then also have the opportunity to find mushrooms. I think if you're looking for sheds, you obviously can come across mushrooms as well. And so it kind of turns into a three-way hunt that you're able to do all at the same time and same day at the farm: turkey hunt, mushroom hunt, shed hunt. and wait till the turkeys sound off and gobble, and then you can get right back to turkey hunt.
You know what I think is hilarious is I took a buddy of mine specifically to go mushroom hunting, and do you guys know what a false morel is?
Yeah, don't eat them.
Yeah. So
No, they look very similar too. They're a little taller and more slender.
you went that way, this way, and that came back at like 4. I'm like, I ain't see it. You can grab a bag full of these things. Man, I cleaned up, and I was like, yeah, you tried to throw up. Terrible, but if anybody doesn't know, aren't they like red and spongy and
No, they're the same color. They're just taller.
what they got? There's a little
They
red,
have his thinner walls, and the pores on the top aren't near as deep.
and they're red. They got a little red tint to them.
Man, maybe a little bit, but they're eerily similar.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you there's a lot of people every year that eat a false morel.
Yeah, they're probably what Cody. He said this area. He's probably like, oh, these jerks been sicker. You just
I don't know the difference.
Have you ever found a pile of morels and marked it out on us?
Yes. I got spots that are
Kudos to you.
You know what I have done? I haven't found them, but I've seen a fallen over tree or log that I know is going to be a spot that I mark, and I say, I'm going to come back here and check because I think that's a good spot. And then I typically look at my onyx about 4 years later. I'm like, never went back there.
solid pets. They're probably all over it. But yeah, they do say, I mean, and I have seen it, they do typically will come up in the same area year after year. They'll come back if conditions are right. So I think it's a great thing to do if you do find, especially if you're on a public beach you're on hunt, just to be able to try to remember and find that spot in future years. It falls a really good trick.
All the cottonwoods that are old and dead, that's typically what I'm pinning. Just a cotton could be a spotter. I think elms too. They also hit up on elms. But man, what you got? You got some tips?
I don't have much for tips, man. I give a lie to you. I'm not a diehard mushroom guy.
But I would tell you this. If you want somebody to walk 87 miles with you to look for a shed for a deer, I've got a guy for you. He'll come anywhere in the world and walk your property in a zigzag pattern, star pattern, cross pattern, a Z pattern, up and down pattern, grid pattern. He'll walk it all over. They'll find it.
He wanders sleep.
Bike, shed. Something about this guy, he says he almost enjoys shed hunting more than he enjoys.
That's bait. It's a weird fact. Let's not talk about that right
But tell me what drives when, what's the, mushroom hunting and shed hunting, what's the.
You just know it, Rick.
find a big bone and then knowing that there's stuff.
We're still talking about deer, right?
Is it because you don't have a trail cam picture of them anymore and now you have confirmed?
Dude, just look at it this way. Think of the excitement of finding a giant shed, because now that you have that shed,
So you're getting a trail cam picture of a deer. Oh,
Well,
here.
but now you have a giant that's still alive and still roaming your farm. It's just cool. It creates a lot of excitement for the upcoming year. I love shedding. I know, call me crazy. I don't know. I definitely put in just as much time for shit. Here's that you put deer on it.
Here's what's interesting. Once a year, when everyone goes on their morel mushroom hunting fest, and we have friends up ours that love it, and they always try to invite us over, and we've done it, and we've done over there, and I almost throw up eating. Not in my opinion. I think it's terrible. But tell you a story. Went over there one year. They tried to claim to us that they went out and found all these mushrooms, and I get to the house and they're frying them. Terrible, by the way. Terrible, greasy, nasty, awful. Tasted awful. But I see a receipt on the counter. I mean, the receipt's from like a National Grocers or whatever, and it's like $55 a pound for.
Yep.
They went and bought some mushrooms.
Yeah.
And they were telling me they were out there hunting it and getting after it and everything else. And I didn't call them out, but I was just like, you stinking liars. But wow. So what's it? $50 a pound for mushrooms? That's the thing.
I lived in the state of Missouri for 4 years while I went to college down in St. Charles County.
That's a Hartsville school.
Yeah, it used to actually be at all, but it's all girls school. Yeah. It was now. It's co-ed now. But anyways, the temperature conditions must be just premium in that belt of the United States, because finding morel mushrooms in the state of Missouri, I'm gonna say it is easy. Because
They got timber.
they got the timber, they get more rain, they get warmer a little bit earlier than we do here in Nebraska. We'd go out and you could find them by the black trash bag full of these things. So many that you would have to stop hunting them because you had no other place to put them anymore. You would get in the timber and you would just find it seemed like a food plot of these things, like someone planted. They were all over the place.
Are you when you talk about all the mushrooms by the timber, are you a timberland or are you I'm going down? Time to dimmer.
Man, I must not mushroom hunt right when I go.
Which one are you? What is that? Well, you'll see it as you.
Hey, the only thing I got when I mushroom hunt is usually my ball cap because I know I'm going to find that.
Oh, that's where you're not looking at.
I typically have my turkey pack, or mainly turkey hunting, and then I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get these back to the truck without getting them all smushed up.
Been a long time. When I was younger,
That Cody actually has the mesh bag.
You're a diehard.
We have this simple. So on mondocat.com, a couple years ago, we realized everyone was all about these mushrooms. And so we went and got this meshing and we created these bags and we
You
literally
got to release those spores, right? So they're out back.
out of the thing. But it is a mesh bag and we sewed it up and put a logo on and people buy them. And then you go on mondocat.com and buy it.
They're conservationists. It's good. It's good to see. I grew up in Platte River, Nebraska. If you know me, you know that. But we had a pile of mushrooms out there, right? And when I was a kid, I didn't have a whole lot of money, and we did. We sold them to Nola's Bar Grill. It was a little old lady.
Fry them up in their fry.
Yeah, she would give us back then. It was only like $30 a pound, but we would sell them to Nola for $30 a pound. But we'd spend, every weekend trying to find mushrooms to sell in there.
The veteran mushroom. There's a market, right? It's huge, right through the state of Missouri. I'm telling you, I saw this when I lived there. Just like we have the farmers that come in, sit at the gas station, and sell all their produce. They have that for morel mushrooms. I'm sorry, I buy the bucket pulls. They have 5-gallon buckets loaded in their truck bed, and these things are to the brand.
I bet you would take Lincoln Noma and make a mint. Yeah, sell to an actual good restaurant with a chef.
All right, let's do this a little interesting, right? If it's April or May, and you're in the state of Nebraska, and you're wanting to get outside, what's the number one thing you're going to do? April, May. Like where I'm going turkey out.
Yeah, it's the turkeys, it's food plots, it's tail end of shed season. Yeah, those are my three things.
I'm going to say you have the chance to go for mushrooms.
I'm just doubling up. I'm doubling up.
I'm going to make a point on my trip to the farm that I'm going to turkey hunt first, at daybreak. I'm going to go out there in the dark and I'm going to turkey hunt. And after I'm got my, tail tucked, the turkeys ran away. I didn't harvest one.
That's normal?
Yep, that's pretty normal. I'm going to the woods, and I'm going to try to find some real mushrooms, woods or creek banks or whatever.
I think honestly, one of the coolest times, being from Florida, one of the coolest times of the year in Nebraska, besides the fall, is this first springtime because you get to go turkey hunting, and it takes me back to the South. And
what do you like about the fall? Husker football or?
we have a football team?
A really good one.
Yeah, I didn't know that. What's the names?
Oh, well, it's the Huskers.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they were all girls school.
No.
I thought they were a basketball school.
Volleyball. I didn't remember your school. We are a volleyball school.
We won national championship, I think, in some women's track or something.
We're bowling and shoot rifle shooting. Were you there? Yeah. You named bowling's like the board natty shape.
So they're like the best bowler in the world, I think.
Some pretty good wrestling at times. We pretty much everything but the football team.
Which
Florida,
super tangent here, but did you know the football team drives like 95%, 85% of the revenue for the university? And I was
Kind of like the Sandhill Cranes for the state of Nebraska.
useless. Raise a lot of money in, but it's useless.
Yeah.
All right, that's our knock though. Yeah. God, that one's gonna get caught in the camera. Episode 8, the idea behind the crane conversation and the mushrooms is these are like trains in Nebraska. These are tangible things that people love to do in the state of Nebraska.
Big deal.
They are part of our culture, our history, our everyday life. We see the cranes, we see the mushrooms. All our friends are doing one or the other, watching them or going to hunt them for the mushrooms. If you're not from Nebraska, I urge you to go check out the cranes, and I'd urge you to spend some time if you want to come walk our public lands. And if you're going to a state park, make sure state park the stamp. Get the stamp with the permit.
You don't want to get dinged for that. They check a lot this time of year because there's so many turkey hunters. It's just to make sure you have that.
It's a beautiful time of the year in Nebraska. It's starting to get wet, starting to warm up a little bit. It's a lot of fun. And I think Matt's going to send us off this episode with a beautiful sound, his greatest sound of a sentence.
I listen with things prehistoric. Beautiful.
I swear I sounded just like that. Traded in mine unity.
Oh, was that Zassa you saw? I'm telling you, I have to pull those things in.
At this point, if they keep their clicking checkout or pausing the podcast, and they moved on to the next episode. So, hey, thanks for joining us again. Episode 8, Bucks of Nebraska Podcast. Cody, Matt, and Zach here. Sandhill Cranes and morel mushrooms. And so we'll see you on episode 9. We're going to talk a little bit in episode 9 about the Iowas have a couple changes in their regulations that they're going to do with landowners and whatnot. We've got a lot of conversation about that because it's specific to the landowners and the permits and the non-residents but there's a lot of stuff about Iowa going on right now. I think it's a controversial bill. Yeah, I think there's a couple bills that just start going off, but I also think Iowa as a whole has a whole heap of problems. But Matt and we all agree, Iowa has it figured out for deer hunting.
Yeah, they do. I love you. Already deer ad corn and bad football, bad Kansas.
Thurston's the team that you were talking about earlier. Yeah. The point being, though, is Iowa, though, it has a lot of problems. And we're going to talk about the problems. And sure, Iowa's deer hunting's great and everyone loves it. And we think they do a lot really well with their regulations and permitting and whatnot. But next episode 9,
It's getting a little, there's a little turmoil in Iowa right now.
Yeah. Politics right now in Iowa are crazy.
They've been a hotbed.
Land on our shit, everything's crazy. So for you. Join us on episode 9. If you're listening to episode 8 right now, flip right up to episode 9 and give it a listen. And we'll see you over there. So have a good day.
And we're out.
Matt said